Hey there, Mr. Chu here with an SAT review video. Let's do a couple of harder than usual problems 14 and 15 in the SAT prep video series that I've been doing from Module 1. So the practice problems have been released by the College Board for SAT review. They also are a good review for the ACT and the ASVAB. Some problems are going to be easy for you, some will be hard, and most of them expect you to know a lot of background information and understand the math classes you've been taking leading up to the SAT. Make sure you like this video if it's helpful to you. I would appreciate it if you'd follow me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and X. I have lots of math help videos that are available on those platforms. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. There is the long link. There also are links down on the corners of the videos and underneath if you're watching on a device. I also have email you can send questions to, askmrchu@gmail.com. I've had some people send emails asking me for some calculus videos and asking me for different math questions, and I will either answer them in the email or make a video for you. All right, so here are the two problems. The first one says, what is one of the solutions of this quadratic equation? You could always pause this and see if you can work them out on your own. And then the other one is an exponential growth question talking about bacteria. And it's multiple choice, but number 14 is open-ended. So if you need to pause this so that you can try this on your own, and do so now. I will start working it, and you could start the video back up to see if you've done it right. So I'm going to just talk around and try to explain the different ways and the different thinking involved. Quadratic equation can be solved in many ways. There are actually 4 or 5 different ways, but one of the easy ways to solve it is if you can factor it into 2 binomials and then use the zero property rule to find the solution. So if I have az squared plus bz plus c, and I use z's instead of x's here, and it equals 0, then I can say that in this equation, see how there's no number in front of the z squared? So that a would be 1. And then in front of the z, there's a 10, so that's going to be my b. So b is 10. And then c is the number you're adding to it. And since that's minus 24, that means c would be not minus 10, but minus 24. So that was a typo. Okay? So it says, find the two numbers m and n, where mn is equal to ac. So I'm going to take a times c, and m plus n is going to equal c, so that I can reverse FOIL and factor it. And these are explained in factoring videos that I've done in my Bare Algebra curricula. You can search my YouTube channel if you need more help in this. So I say that AC is negative 24. 1 times negative 24. So I know that m times n has to equal negative 24 whenever I'm multiplying these out. And then adding them up is going to be my b, which is going to be my 10 in the middle. Okay? So there is my two possibilities. If I take 12 and negative 2 and multiply them, I get my negative 24. And if I take 12 and negative 2 and add them, I get my 10. So my two numbers in my m and n are going to be 12 and negative 2. So I am going to take the z squared plus 10z minus 24 equals 0, and I'm going to take my z plus my 12 times my z plus my negative 2 and set that equal to 0. Well, once you have that set equal to 0, then there is a rule that says that if that equals 0. It'd be minus 2. The plus and negative 2 would end up being minus 2. Then either one equals 0 or the other one equals 0. So I can take this and say either it equals 0 or this equals 0. That's called the zero property for multiplication. So I break it into two possibilities. Case 1, z plus 12 equals 0, or case 2, z minus 12 equals 0. Now I'm going to solve it. So I subtract a 12 from both sides in case 1, and I add a 2 to both sides in case 2. In case 1, this is called the subtraction property of equality, and it's going to cancel this side out. And in case 2, this is called the addition property of equality, and it's going to cancel the minus 2 plus 2 out. So my two solutions are z equals negative 12 or z equals 2, and it only asks for one of them. So you would either say 2 or negative 12. All right, now how could I check and see if I was right on this line where I have the z plus 12 times the z minus 2? Well, I can use what's called FOIL. And when you use FOIL, you're using the F, which is first, the O, which is outer, the I, which is inner, and the L, which is last. And I actually just did a FOIL video in the last couple days and posted it up in my Bare Algebra curriculum. So I always teach this, and I teach them to draw a face. So they're going to do first, which is z times z, and then they're going to do outer, which is z times a negative 2, inner, 12 times a z, and then last, 12 times a negative 2. And when you do that, you end up getting z times z, that is my first one, which is going to be your z squared. And then you get z times your negative, or 2, which is your minus 2z, 12 times z, and then 12 times the negative 2. And you get z squared plus 12z minus 2z minus 24, which is z squared plus 12z minus 2z minus 24. And I combine those two to get my 10z. And when I do that and look up at the top, is that my original problem? Sure is. That is the way you solve to find that. Now, what were the other ways you could have used? You could have used the quadratic formula. That would be easier for some people. You could have completed the square. That would have been easy for some people. So let's go ahead now and look at this exponential growth problem. So it says bacteria are growing in a liquid growth medium. You start out with 300,000 cells per milliliter whenever you initially observe it. That's important. The number of cells per milliliter doubles every 3 hours. So every 3 hours, it's going to get 2 times as big. How many cells per milliliter will there be 15 hours after the initial observation? Okay, so first thing we have to talk about is, and this is not on any formula sheet that they give you, is exponential growth and the equation you can use. There's several different forms, but the capital G, which I'm calling growth, equals A times B to the X. A is my initial value, so I'm going to put 300,000 right here. B is the growth factor, and it doubles, so I'm going to put a 2 right here where the B is. And the hardest part is the X, because remember, it doubles every 3 hours, and we're looking at it for 15 hours. So it's going to be 15 over 3, or 5. So there it is, initial amount times the growth factor raised to the power of the time. Well, the time is going to be 15 over 3. It doubles, there's my 2, and the initial observation is 300,000. So it's 300,000 times 2 to the 5th. 2 to the 5th is 32. Ends up being 9,600. which is choice D. Trying to move my oval here, and sometimes it's hard to, there, I got it to recognize it. So it's choice D. So hopefully you were able to understand the solving the quadratic and the working through the exponential growth. All right. So we'll wind this thing down. I do a video about every day or two to show you more of the problems worked out. There are 27 total problems in module 1, and there's 6 modules, so I'm going to keep doing them. So there'll be more and more review videos. And there are 12 short videos of 2 or 3 problems in each. So you can either see them all together or just watch the little shorts. I've got a YouTube channel right here, and that YouTube channel has all of my videos on it, including my curricula, which is Bare Algebra, Brachiometry, and Tray Arithmetic and Pre-Algebra. You can send me questions to askmrchu@gmail.com, and I'll answer them in the email, or I will make a video for you if it's too long of an answer for an email. Help me spread the word. Help you with math questions. I want to use my videos as my method to teach. I've got my Bare Algebra, my Brachiometry, and my Tray Arithmetic. So you can check my YouTube channel out and watch all of these different videos. And it's important that you remember that I am Mr. Chu, and I want to help you learn the math. And I'll see you in the next video.